We want to talk about Congress passing the deal and bring in our next guest, who says that deferring all tough decisions on spending and debt to a super congressional committee is just going to set up a terrible package of fake spending cuts. Dan Mitchell is senior fellow at the Cato Institute. He is one of the nation's leading experts on the flat tax. He has also been a leading international voice in the fight to preserve tax competition. Dan, so glad you're with us this morning. Why are you so pessimistic about this super committee? Because even some of the D.C. insiders who have seen all the wrangling up close and by many accounts just horribly messy, right, until this debt deal was reached, say the super committee is going to be forced to come up with something reasonable.
In theory, if you look at the law, they're going to have to come up with 1.2 to 1.5 trillion. But we have a giant national debt, a huge deficit. Our unfunded liabilities dwarf both of those. And we're talking about maybe not just the tip of the iceberg, but a few of the crystals on top of the tip of the iceberg. That's really all they're dealing with. But even that overstates whether or not we should have any optimism, because this is all about politics right now, where the Democrats want to sort of trick Republicans into a tax increase trap. The Republicans, of course, have their own political agenda in all this. I suspect we're going to kick the can down the road. We've had dozens of commissions and committees and task forces over the years in Washington, and we're still marching to become another Greece.
Dan, I want to ask you to be more optimistic. I mean, who could be on this committee that might be able to make a difference? Who should be on the short list?
Well, I think they should bring in some of the newcomers, the guys like Senator Marco Rubio of Florida, Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky. These are the guys that came in with the fresh ideas about trying to, in effect, take this giant ocean liner of big government that is steaming right toward an iceberg. We know that our long-term demographics and the entitlement programs are going to make us Greece. And some of these guys are saying, yes, we want to make some changes. Paul Ryan, he's the only person to actually pass a budget through one chamber.
And he's not too extreme?
Paul Ryan is someone who's saying that we want to go ahead and get our fiscal house in order. His budget, which some have called extreme, would have let government spending increase by an average of 2.6% a year. Remember, when they talk about spending cuts in Washington, they use Washington math. If you increase spending but not as much as you plan to, that's a cut. So every time someone says, oh, this is too extreme, it's all politics.
Dan, we hope you come back. We'd like to talk to you once that super committee has been formed. Dan Mitchell from the Cato Institute joining us here.